Hey there, math fans. Welcome to Test 9, Lesson 4. Get your swords ready. Today we're going to talk about drawing missing brackets into an equation, expressing probability mathematically, and converting improper fractions to mixed numbers and vice versa, which means the other way around. Let's start by drawing missing brackets into an equation. So here I have a question asking me where the brackets should be in this equation. 4 plus 7 times 2 minus 15 equals 7. Obviously there should be brackets in there, because if I do the question the way it's written, I get 4 plus 14 take away 15, which would be 18 take away 15, which would equal 3, not 7. So that can't be right. I am missing some brackets, so I'm just going to try putting them in some different places. Let's start by putting them around here and see what happens. So if I do that, then instead of doing my 7 times 2 first, I'm going to start with 4 plus 7, and that will give me 11 times 2 take away 15. 11 times 2 is 22 take away 15, which equals 7. So that's where my missing brackets should be. They should be around the 4 plus 7. Easy stuff.
So here's a slightly harder one. We have 8 times 3 plus 10 minus 36 divided by 6 equals 98. So go ahead and pause the video here and try to figure out where the brackets should go, and when you come back I will have the answer for you. Alright, so your brackets should go here. And the reason is, if I figure it out, I'm going to do my brackets first, so then I get 8 times 13, take away 36 divided by 6. I'll do my multiplication next. It could be multiplication or division, but the multiplication comes first, so I'll do that first. 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 3 is 24, so 80 plus 24 is 104. Take away 36 divided by 6. I'm going to do my division next, so I'll get 104 take away 6, and when I do that, it works out to 98. So that is where my brackets should go. And that's all there is to this type of activity. It's just trial and error. You just have to try the brackets in different places until you figure out what works.
Next up, let's talk about how to express probability mathematically. So this is Lauren, and Lauren is planning to pick one of 3 students at random to help her on her project. She is more likely to pick a boy than a girl. What is the probability that she will choose a boy? So when I think about that problem, so whenever I'm expressing probability, I'm going to use a fraction between 0 and 1. My denominator is going to be my number of choices, which is 3, because it tells me she's picking one of 3 students. And I know she's more likely to pick a boy. So there's only 3 kids. So if she's more likely to pick a boy, the probability must be 2 out of 3. The only other choice would be 1 out of 3, and that would make her less likely. So here's another problem, and it's that Jean-Paul's stepdad keeps 6 chocolate bars in a bag in his office. He said that Jean-Paul could take one. He has Kit Kats and arrows in the bag, and it's equally likely that Jean-Paul will pick either one. What is the probability that he will pick an arrow? Pause the video and see if you can figure that out, and when you come back I'll have the answer for you. So he has 6 chocolate bars, so my probability will be out of 6. If it's equally likely that he could pick either one, that means that there must be an equal number of arrow and Kit Kats. So whatever plus whatever equals 6, the same number has to go in both of those blanks, which would be a 3. The probability of picking an arrow or a Kit Kat is 3 out of 6, which is equivalent to 1/2 or 50%. And our last objective for today is to convert mixed numbers to improper fractions. So just a reminder here, an improper fraction is one where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So 7/5 would be an improper fraction. It means I have more than one whole. A mixed number is a whole number and a proper fraction. So 1 and 2/5. And these two fractions are actually equivalent. So to convert improper fractions into mixed numbers, let's start with 5/3 here. I can do this by drawing a picture. As you already know, a picture of 5/3 would look like this. To write that as a mixed number, I'm going to write my whole number, which is 1. There we go. And my fraction, which is 2/3. So 5/3 is equivalent to 1 and 2/3. Let's try it for the next one, which is 4 halves. So here I've drawn 4 halves, and you can see that actually this wouldn't be a mixed number, it would just be 2. 4 halves is equivalent to 2 wholes. And last I have 3 ones. I'm not sure how you would say that, to be honest. 3 ones. And I'm going to draw a picture of that. And once again, it's actually not going to give me a mixed number. It's going to give me 3 wholes. Now, part of the reason I did it that way is because I want to show you another way you can do this without drawing a picture. So if you'll notice on this one over on the far right, 3 over 1, if I do 3 divided by 1, I get 3. On the one beside it, 4 over 2, if I do 4 divided by 2, I get 2. And that's the same as the number of wholes I get. So if I go over here and I do 5 divided by 3, I would get 1 with a remainder of 2. Now 1 remainder 2, look at my mixed number. I have 1 whole and 2 thirds. So another way that you can convert an improper fraction to a mixed number is by dividing the top number by the bottom number. Whatever your whole number is will be your whole number in your mixed number, and whatever your remainder is will go over this bottom number to make your fraction. So let's try a few more quick examples. So here I have 8 fifths, and what I can do to find my mixed number is go 8 divided by 5. 5 is going to go into 8 one time, and then 8 minus 5, there's going to be a remainder of 3, which means that my mixed number will be 1 and 3 fifths. And it's fifths. It's always going to be fifths because that's the fraction I'm working with. 4 thirds, same thing. I can go 4 divided by 3. My answer will be 1. I can get one group of 3 out of 4, and then I'll have a leftover, so a remainder of 1. So my answer will be 1 and 1 third. And if you don't like doing it that way, you can draw the picture. So for 8 fifths, this would be my picture, and you can see it gives the same answer. I've got 1 whole and 3 out of 5, so 1 and 3 fifths. And same thing for 4 thirds. I've got my picture, and it gives me 1 whole and 1 third colored in down here, which is the same amount. So you can do this either way. When you're converting mixed numbers back to improper fractions, same thing, there's 2 ways to do it. One, you could draw a picture. So for 3 2/4, I can draw a picture. Here are my 3 wholes, and before I add my 2/4, I just wanted to show you why I divided each whole into 4 parts. That's because the denominator here tells me that I'm working with fourths. So the 3 wholes, each whole is going to be 4 fourths, and that's what I've drawn here, is 3 whole chocolate bars cut into 4 pieces each. And there are my 2/4. So to find out my improper fraction, I'm just going to count up all the pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 will be my numerator. Out of 4 will be my denominator. Because remember always that the denominator is not telling you how many pieces there are, it's telling you how many pieces are in a whole. So if these are chocolate bars, each chocolate bar is cut into 4 pieces. My denominator tells me how many pieces are in one chocolate bar, not how many pieces I have in my whole clump. Now you may have noticed that a faster way to count up those groups would have been to multiply 4 times 3. And look, here's a 3 and a 4. So another way that you can do this is through multiplication. You can take your denominator, multiply it by your whole number, 4 times 3 equals 12, and then add in your extra pieces. 12 plus 2 equals 14. Your answer will be 14 out of 4. Either way works just fine. So for the second one, I have 2 1/3. I can either draw a picture or I can multiply. I'm going to start by multiplying this time. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So my numerator will be 7 and my denominator will be 3 because that's what I have there, 7 thirds. Let's do a picture to make sure that works. So here I've drawn my picture. I have 2 whole chocolate bars cut into 3 pieces each, and then 1/3 extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 thirds. So using whichever method you want, pause the video here and see if you can figure out how you would convert 4 and 5/6 into a mixed number. So I chose to use the multiplication way because it's faster. I didn't want to draw 6 quarters, but I could have if I'd wanted to. Or sorry, not 6 quarters, four full 6 out of 6 shapes. So I used multiplication here. I went 6 times 4 gave me 24 because I knew that when I drew my picture I was going to have six pieces in each group times 4 holes for 24. And then I added in the extra pieces, which was 5, to give me 29. My improper fraction would be 29/6. And that's it. Sorry, a bit of a longer lesson today. Just 3 quick review questions here. And then if you're having any trouble at all with mixed numbers and improper fractions, this is kind of a fun game down here. www.bit.ly/VKQ9GQ. And you have to get all the capitals and everything right. Sorry, tiny URL wasn't working. If you go there, there's a game you can play that will give you a little bit of extra practice on these. You don't have to do that, but you do have to do these review questions, and I'll see you tomorrow.